So I thought, okay, let me go and investigate a little bit further. I think we felt very confident and supported throughout the whole process on this journey, which we could not have embarked without your assistance. The issue was resolved by the actual conveyancing team and their legal representative without any major dramas, and the seller paid for the panels as part of the settlement. So
Hello everyone. So I've got Ajay here with me today. So he's purchased a property with me recently, and I'm just going to talk to him about how his experience was working with me. So welcome, Ajay.
Thank you, Chatur. Thank you for having me on board.
I'll love by just giving a quick introduction. Who are you and what do you do?
Look, my name is Ajay Shah. I am actually a food technical consultant. So I do a lot of work in compliance work for animal feed, food and cosmetic industry. So that's me in a nutshell.
What made you and Achal interested to invest in property? What was that spark that happened there?
Yeah, look, we've been thinking about getting an investment property for the past 3 to 4 years at least. And one of our good friend also advised us after he purchased his first investment property that we should look into getting an investment property. And also the lending manager at ANZ at the time, like recently actually, also sort of told me that you should really be looking at an investment property because you're in a very strong position. So I thought, okay, let me go and investigate a little bit further. And that's what prompted us.
Yeah. Okay. And so I'm sure that before you invested, you must have had some concerns or worries or, just fearful about getting into the property market, right? Could you just break that down for me a bit? What were they?
If you're a novice into the investment side of things, you're always a little bit cagey and nervous and sort of apprehensive. And yeah, all those sort of feelings were coming through, and we were not sure exactly how or where to invest, nor any idea about property market, and were keen to seek sort of good professional advice from somebody like yourself, because we were actually at a loss, to tell you the truth. And because we're both so busy with our lives, we just haven't had the time to actually look at investment properties in depth. If you wanted to purchase yourself, I think it's a big ask.
So could you just tell me, Ajay, so how did you find me and get to know me, and what was that process of getting to know each other and starting to work with each other? How could you just talk about that?
Yeah, it's actually, once I went to meet the lending manager at ANZ, I had a meeting with him and I said, look, I don't know how you start or what you start or when do you start? And he said, look, I'll give you a name of a buyer's agent, and then you can sort of decide what you want to do. So I said, okay, I'll have a look at it. So he gave me your details, and yeah, we took it on board and got the ball rolling from there. And that's how I got to know you.
So, what were some of the things that you were looking at? So you made a call to decide to work with me as, using me as the buyer's agent. So during our initial conversations, what was it that kind of made you decide, okay, let's work with this guy and go ahead with him?
Yeah, look, we felt that you kind of offered very good sound advice on our first consultation and answered all our questions. Plus, you had been operating in the industry for a while, which gave us a lot of confidence that you knew the industry better than other buyers that we had also approached as well, because we just wanted to check out. And one of the advice that the ANZ lending manager said is go and check out, talk to a few buyers agents, and then you can have a feel
to
who you want to go with.
And so let's talk about the process, Ajay. So when we kind of went from strategy, we discussed different markets, I think we went through different markets around the country, right? We were talking about Darwin, we were talking about Queensland, we were talking about Victoria, and then we went to sourcing the property. So through all that strategy, market selection and property sourcing, how did you feel that overall process? And did you feel comfortable working with me? Did you feel confident about the whole thing? What was that looking like?
Yeah, look, I think we felt very confident and supported throughout the whole process on this journey, which we could not have embarked without your assistance. We also found that you were very approachable, and whenever we had a question that we are not sure about, you always returned our calls and emails promptly, even though they were late at night, because, that's the time I was free. Before I knew it, you were responding to me at 12 o'clock midnight as well sometimes. So, that just shows that you're dedicated in what you're doing as well. And that gave us a really good confidence as well.
Okay, thank you for that, Ajay. Thank you. And so, what were your thoughts about the due diligence around the properties that were presented? When I say due diligence, it's the checks on those properties, like, flood checks, bushfire checks. Is it in a good area? The checks done by the property manager who inspects the property and gives you feedback around the property. What did you feel about those checks?
Both me and Achla really appreciated the information you provided us, which was diligently collected, conducted, and also your research on the area that you presented to us, which also helped us in making our decision.
Yeah.
Especially like flood zones, bushfire zones, all those sort of things, schools, because these are the factors that really come into play when you're actually purchasing a property. That's where you want your tenants to be, because location is a key. I think you really helped that process. Plus, the contacts you had who were checking the property for us, giving us video clips, all this really helped us, because, of course, we were buying a property without actually visiting the site, just looking through the video camera and relying on somebody else. And I think you gave us really good feedback.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's talk about one of the setbacks we faced. Like halfway through the process, the agent comes back and told us, there is a solar panel debt on this property. There's about 20,000 in debt. And then the agent went on to say that the owners didn't disclose that on the contract, right? And so at that point, anyone would have been really fearful, worried. What were you thinking, when suddenly something like that came across, and how was that issue resolved?
Yeah, look, I think it just came as a surprise to both me and Achla, and I thought, we're buying our first property, we've signed the contract, and all of a sudden they're throwing this at us. Yeah. And said there must be a way. So what I did was I basically called on to my accountant, who have been accounting with them for 25 years, because I believe in sort of working with people that I've been comfortable with and loyal. I'm a very loyal person. So I wanted some feedback on her part. And she was also saying that this is ridiculous. They can't throw this one once you've signed the contract, because it's part and parcel of you.
Yeah.
I actually then got in touch with the our conveyancers, and explained the whole situation, that we're not coming to any settlement. It is what it is. They have to come to the party with that. And if they decide not to go ahead, then obviously they'll be at fault. Left it at that. And I think their lawyer was a little bit difficult at the time as well.
They started out a very kind of complicated situation for us, and it was favorable for us. So in the end, the sellers had to pay the debt, and there was no, you had no other debt to pay them. So it was pretty cool that they, sorted it out properly.
I mean, the issue was resolved by the actual conveyancing team and their legal representative without any major dramas, and the seller paid for the panels as part of the settlement. So that's good. I mean, we had to make sure that it's all done.
Yeah, that's right. And so let's kind of talk about buyer's agents in general. So what would you tell someone who's looking, who's on the fence about working with me or working with a buyer's agent? What would you tell someone like that?
From my experiences and Achla's experience, we would recommend that they speak to a number of buyer's agents, and then could decide for themselves for the service and the cost, which to me are the primary drivers, because cost is really important, because when you're purchasing property, there'll be some other costs that come along the way. And I think you have to be mindful that there are costs associated with all this. So just look at the main criteria is that, what the buyer's agent, what service he or she is able to offer to you. And for us, this is what we were looking at, and we were very comfortable with what we had to offer.
Okay. All right. I guess we've kind of covered everything, Ajay. Thank you so much for coming in today. I know you're very busy, and thank you so much for coming in and providing this testimonial. Really appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to working with you again for another property purchase in the future as well.
Yeah, thanks. Likewise, we're we are also looking forward to that as well, down the track. But you've also assisted us with some other people here in Victoria for my son when he bought the property, especially he used the house inspection personnel that you gave.
Yeah.
So that was quite useful because you're quite well connected, and that really was also another thing that we loved about you.
Well, thank you, Ajay. That's very kind of you to say. So yeah, that's it for today, and then we'll catch up again soon, Ajay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.